ladies and gentlemen, joining us. Okay. You want to talk about dads? How about a Godfather?
Uh-huh.
Okay, how about going back to New York and turning the place upside down? In doing so, having a documentary shot about the season and just delivering gems seemingly every single time that he speaks. Only coach in the history to take 6 different teams to the NCAA tournament. The Big East Coach of the Year from the St. John Johnnies. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Rick Pitino.
Yeah, Coach!
How are you, Paisan?
I'm great, thank you.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know you can't wear any green because of the school colors and everything like that, but just know that we're celebrating the hell out of you and the Johnnies over here while we're drinking some green beer or such. Let's talk about this season. And Coach, first of all, you're electrifying. Every clip that comes out from you speaking to your team is wonderful. The one that I enjoyed most, that made me feel like I was back in the locker room, is whenever you were pissed off at your guys for when adversity struck, that they continued to kind of collapse. You said, where were you raised that you have such a weak mentality? When do you dig in? Like the motivation that you were given to these guys obviously struck home. They come out and crush in the second half. Is that like your life motto that you're putting into your players? Like, how do you develop what messages you want to send at the time? Is that just your beliefs and how you have got here? And honestly, I fucking love listening to you coach, and I've never played basketball a day in my life.
Well, thank you. I think it revolves around the structure of your team. This team is a hardworking team, but they count their misses too much. We're not a great shooting team. We rely on perseverance, a very strong defensive work ethic. And if we miss 2 or 3, we deflate. And I keep telling them, you keep shooting. You move the basketball, you take open shots, you never deflate. You just get on to the next play. And we had a tendency early in the year, because we're all new to each other, of deflating. So I got him out of that. We went out at halftime of that game. We won it in the Big East final. We were down 3 at halftime. We came back out. We got down 15 early, down 3 at halftime, won it by 15. So it's just a matter of dealing with adversity. I never, ever wonder about dealing with adversity with my team. I've always concerned myself with dealing with success with every team I've ever coached. Success is so much more difficult to deal with than adversity.
You get comfortable. You win the Big East title, obviously, and I saw you talk to the team and to the press about it, and obviously you're incredibly proud. You talk some shit, which seemingly is classic Coach Pitino and that all, but what is the message to the team after you win the Big East title? Because obviously there is a comfortability about having a successful season that comes with winning a title, and now your most important basketball happens. So how do you keep everybody kind of grounded?
Well, we broke down the season from the beginning in 3 phases. Phase 1 was to try and have the best Big East schedule season that you could possibly have, try to win it, get in the NCAA. Then you play 3 games, and we tried to mimic these because we have very little NCAA experience on this team. Only 2 players have played in the NCAA, and 1 did not play. Zubi Ejiofor, who's had a great year, did not play. So we took the Big East tournament and said, okay, this is the first round of the NCAA, second game is the second round, third game, and so on. And we put a lot of pressure in each game to survive and advance. So we did that. Now, phase 3 is you're playing against teams you've never seen before. And probably, if you're lucky enough to get by the first round, then you play the toughest 7-10 matchup there is in the country.
Yeah, the next round is what everybody's talking about because could be a couple of legends. On that note, Anthony DeJulio has a question for you, Coach Pitino.
Yeah, Coach. I know it's one game at a time. Let's say you get by Omaha, and then it's either Bill Self or Coach Cal. Do you like in that second round potentially going against a future Hall of Fame coach in those guys where you kind of know who their teams are, who their teams will be, versus a coach that you've never gone against and you don't know their style?
You know, it doesn't come down to every coach in the NCAA is going to be really prepared. They, both Bill and John, know exactly what not to do because they've been there many times. Another coach may not have been there, and they're not familiar with the NCAA, but these 2 guys are Hall of Fame coaches. They know what not to do. Their teams will be well prepared. They're going to have great talent, certainly. So we're super excited to be in the tournament. St. John's right now, we've turned the corner, we've built the culture, and now we just got to take it to another level. In the next few years, we hope to build it to a new level.
I love what you're doing. Love the excitement around the city. I don't get to New York as often as I should. You know, it's a beautiful town, beautiful city. Seth Greenberg told us that you're just dominating the New York Post. Back page is just Pitino, Pitino, Pitino. And then I saw your quote about being from here and how the St. John's is representing the entire city. I assume that's a massive piece of the recruiting pitch, right? To build back St. John's?
I think more than anything else, think about this. At Kentucky, we went to 2 championship games, and we were never invited onto the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Here we win the Big East. We're on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So as you know, New York's the media capital of the world, the financial capital of the world. And if you win, everything is exaggerated. If you lose, everything is exaggerated. So you better win.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing just that. It feels like that's the only thing you do. Speaking of winning, how'd your liver do against Corder Jameson?
I had 2 beers.
Okay, all right. Just a little fact, a little journalism here. Ty has a question.
I was looking for a Jameson's commercial. They didn't hit me.
Yet. Hold on, it's on their way. You know, they got a lot going on right now at St. Patty's. They were underwater. They'll probably catch up later this week. Ty has a question for you.
Coach, NIL has obviously changed the way college basketball is in a big way, and it's still early on, but how have you noticed like your booster support and NIL compared to maybe what it would have been at like a Kentucky or a Louisville? I know Mike Rapopoulos just came out and basically said like, hey, anything coach needs, he's going to get moving forward. So how has that whole situation been at St. John's? Obviously winning a Big East tournament doesn't hurt either.
So obviously Mike Rapopoulos, along with other boosters, have been great for St. John's, but everything's going to change next year. So we've adapted to the NIL last 2 years. Now it's going to change. It's going to go the revenue sharing by the schools. Each school gets $22 million. Football will dominate the pool because they have more players. So here's the luxury we have, along with the other 10 Big East members. We don't have football. So the revenue sharing will come more into basketball. We will have more money in basketball than all the football programs. So we've got a lucky break along those lines, and revenue sharing will really help the Big East.
Coach, you know, your journey back here to the spotlight is a beautiful one. And, you know, we live in Indianapolis. We're not that far away from your previous homes. When that ended, how it ended, was there, and you gave that adversity speech to your team, was there ever a doubt that you were going to get back to this moment? Not that you didn't with Iona, you know, but like now you are back to being in the spotlight, being talked about as a GOAT again. Everybody, you know, like, did you ever have a doubt that was going to take place, or is this always the vision to get back to the top?
Well, the NCAA enforcement staff is I won't call them corrupt. I will call them inept.
Okay.
And I say that, and the reason I say that is it takes them 5 years to decide your fate. So whether you're guilty or innocent doesn't matter. It's going to take them 5 years to judge you. So after 5 years, I get exonerated. Well, now I'm over in Greece coaching a legendary program, Panathinaikos. And to be perfectly honest with you, Pat, I thought I was going to end my career in the EuroLeague. Which wasn't bad, by the way. I was visiting Moscow, St. Petersburg, Madrid, Tel Aviv. I visited places I'd never experienced. Panathinaikos is like the Boston Celtics of Europe. So it was a wonderful thing for me. I learned an awful lot at age 65 being over there. So I thought that was the end for me. Then I went back to coach Iona University, where we were lucky enough to go to NCAA 2 out of 3 years. And that was very exciting. And I wouldn't have moved from Iona. Just St. John's was a local team, and I got a chance to move over to here.
Okay, so expected to maybe stay over there in Greece or in the EuroLeague, and then as opportunities continue to arise. And did you get a new, I don't want to say perspective or love or hunger after the 5-year exoneration to reprove like everybody can eat shit, basically? A lot of things were said about you, Coach. A lot of things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said, well, it's great you're having a redemption. I really don't believe in the word redemption, because those who judge you really don't know the facts. They really don't know either way, innocent or guilty. They don't know it. And so you take, obviously, if something went wrong, you're the head of the team. You have to be responsible for all actions that go on. So obviously things were done the incorrect way. I suffered the consequences, left a great job at the University of Louisville. And I talked to my team. I didn't hang my head. I took off for Greece, didn't know one person. My wife and family did not go with me. I arrived in Athens, Greece, not knowing a person. The entire arena at halftime, when I walked out, there's a cloud of smoke. Everybody smoking in the arena. I was smoking to death. And if I did anything good over there, I said to the prime minister, listen, you got to stop smoking in restaurants. You got to stop smoking. and we got that passed. They don't smoke in restaurants anymore. They don't smoke in arenas. So that was a great thing. The experience of coaching Panathinaikos was about as enjoyable as anything I've ever done in coaching. And like I said just earlier, alluded to, I learned so much. The EuroLeague is like the Golden State Warriors with 35-year-olds who didn't make it in the NBA. They didn't know how to pass, cut, move. And the offenses were brilliant.
So you're a Greek lobbyist, one of the GOATs, and the only guy to ever take 6 different teams into the tournament. Now, you talked about the 3 years with Iona. We actually have a little year question for you. Connor has one.
Yeah, Coach, usually it doesn't take 3 years. Obviously, you mentioned with St. John's this being your second year and things already kind of turning around. And then there's a graphic that we have, and it was basically every single school you've been at. The year before, they were obviously not very good. And then by the second year of the Rick Pitino coaching tenure, they are unbelievable. And you've been to the tournament, obviously the first coach ever to win the conference tournament with 5+ teams, I believe. What would you say is kind of the Coach Rick Pitino culture that gets instilled that kind of hits home for so many of the players year 2? Is it the guys you bring in after that first year, or is it the guys that are kind of already there understanding how you want them to play basketball?
Well, all of those combined. But let's look at it this way. You're taking over a program. Kentucky was on probation. The Knicks won 21 games. The Louisville was down and out. Providence was dead last place since the inception of the Big East. So they're all falling on hard times. You come in, you don't have enough time to recruit. So the first year is just building a culture of hard work, building a culture where everyone plays with unbelievable passion. And in the second year, you bring in your own players, you've established the culture, and now you're ready to go. And then from that point on, now you've built the culture, now you have the reputation to bring in even better players, and now you've built a strong program. So it's all pretty much been the same. But the one thing I can tell you is this one, of all of them, means the most to me, along with the Knicks, because the other programs, we went into Madison Square Garden at Louisville, won back-to-back Big East championships. And I was so proud of the guys, and one team won the national championship. But this is doing it the same way, but you're doing it where you grew up 8 streets from Madison Square Garden. And this is your home. The people all talk like you. When I was in Louisville and Lexington, nobody sounded like me.
Yeah. You said the word prepared the way you said it earlier, and everybody was like, the hell is this guy saying around here? All the people in New York seemingly rallying around you. I was in Madison Square Garden last Monday. What a place, dude.
Unreal.
Yeah. 20,000 some were in there. I mean, it was glorious, Coach.
Yeah, the Big East semifinal and the Big East final with all St. John's fans, it just brought back memories of when I was coaching. Unfortunately, I coached against Lou Carnesecca, who was 100 this year and passed away. But I was coaching against Lou, Providence versus St. John's. Remembered, coached against Rolly Massimino, John Thompson Sr., Jim Boeheim, P.J. Carlissimo, all the Jim Calhoun, all these great coaches in the Big East at that time. It was a wonderful experience for a young coach.
Okay, so let's talk about that in conferences. I went to West Virginia when West Virginia was in the Big East. Obviously, absolutely legendary run in the football world and still running in the basketball world. The SEC now is having a moment here in college hoops. Do you pay attention to all of that? Is there something or a reason you would point to other than just NIL and maybe the SEC investing more at these schools? Why do you think the SEC is having this record-breaking type season?
Well, obviously, they have more teams than just about anyone. The Big 12, Big 10 now, they've all expanded. Where the Big East has not expanded. I've been trying to get them to expand now for 2 years. I think that even combining, like Coach K said, the ACC with the Big East in basketball would be a wonderful thing. So larger is better, certainly. But the SEC, I can tell you right now, from every team that I've watched, they are unbelievable. Every team. You're talking Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Arkansas. I'm leaving out
Auburn,
obviously.
Alabama. Yep. Got it.
They're all incredible. With also great veteran coaches. You know, they're all. You pick your boy. Who do you like better? Nate Oates or Bruce Pearl? Who do you like better? John Calipari, Mark Pope? They're all great, and they're veteran coaches who again know what not to do as well as what to do. So the SEC has maybe the best combination of coaches who have had wonderful experience, but so does the Big 12 and so does the Big 10. The Big East right now has a lot of young coaches, including myself.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, you look younger than ever. That lotion routine must be the real deal. You Italians got something special in there. You know, you paisans got it figured out. Big East ACC would be absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
That would be great basketball. Holy shit.
Yeah, and I think it's necessary to combat all the people combining their conferences. We need something to, although we had 5 teams out of 11 make the tournament, that's great. But we need something to make it even better. And I've always believed if it's not broken and you're successful, break it and make it better because other people will.
Because other people will. You're right. Other people who have either a different motive or more money will come in and try to change what is working. That's been since the beginning of time in all businesses. Speaking of business, your business, the film. Who you said every time you watch the SEC for a tournament, what do? How far out are you watching film and preparing your team? Is it game by game? Like, how do you prepare the Johnnies here?
I think what I've always done is defensively, we will do everything to go against Omaha's offense. But offensively, in the next 3 days, you prepare for the weekend. So let's say that it's not true, but let's say that Arkansas played a matchup zone. So in the next 3 days, we got to prepare for Kansas, Arkansas, and Omaha offensively. So we don't go into 1 day prep offensively going against defenses you haven't seen. But defensively, we just focus in on Omaha.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that insight. Now I feel like a genius. They've been preparing for this defense for the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, Sunday.
That's what I'm going to sound like an asshole whenever I act like I know what I'm talking about. When I don't. You certainly do, though. And you're a good lobbyist in Greece. I assume you'll be a great lobbyist at the Big East office. Big East ACC would be awesome.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
That'd be the best basketball. That would be the best conference tournament in the MSG, obviously. Oh, my.
Pat, do you remember the Pitino game with against Louisville in 2013, 2005?
Yeah, brother. Pittsnoggle and I maybe 4 to 5, just like you, a couple beers, maybe a quarter Jameson, 4 to 5 pitchers at Club Z afterwards. Yeah, I remember Pittsnoggle. You got Pittsnoggled was the thing.
So we were playing basically 2-3 zone because we only had 7 players, and the 7th player had a stress fracture, so he couldn't practice. So we were just playing flat 2-3 zone. We went out there and they made, I believe it was 13 or some incredible number of threes at halftime. We cut it from 18 to 13. We went up at halftime. We had about 10 minutes. We took all the chairs. They run a Princeton offense with their great coach. And we're going over at halftime, man to man, which we hadn't played the whole season, trying to defend the backdoor offense. And the guys were so brilliant. We won it in overtime.
Okay.
But we changed our entire season defensively in a halftime moving the chairs.
That's good coaching. It sounds like you know what the fuck you're doing. And I'm happy you did that. Beeline was obviously the coach at West.
Tom Beeline was a tremendous coach.
Gansey, Beeline, Pittsnoggle. I'm trying to think of that. There was a Jamie on that team.
His son was great.
Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat was, and Gansey was a dog. Don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. That squad was great.
He was great.
Until you moved chairs at halftime and called him a man. You're an ass.
Of course.
We could have had a great time in Morgantown. Coach, we could have had a great time. We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the way. You don't need to know this and add any extra motivation. Connor and I are
all in.
Heavy on the Johnnies, especially since West Virginia got screwed. Heavy on your team. Can't wait to watch you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, coach.
All right, halftime. Changes the entire team.
They were prepared.
They were prepared.
It comes down to that preparation.
As soon as, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know how you
guessing
transition
now.
into the preparation there, but I don't have enough of a New York accent. But as soon as he said prepared on the thing there, I'm like, oh, he gets back home too. Mm-hmm. I assume it's just dialed up 1,000. He's the king back there. And watching them win this weekend was cool. That was a cool thing to kind of watch him do. Scared me a little bit, especially because of the hefty bet that we placed on them to win it all. But then the information was immediately put. UConn won. They won one. Mm-hmm. You win, you win. You got a good squad. You got a good squad. I like that he's like, hey, guys, we're going to miss shots. We can't shoot.
Yeah.
All right? So you guys get upset that you can't shoot. I know you can't shoot. So whenever you miss, let's just – actually, the only reason why we're shooting is so you guys can have some fun. Okay? We need to be – that's a good mindset. It's all in how you frame things. I bet you Pitino, it sounds like from watching his Vice show every message he's delivered, I'm like, I like the way this guy talks and frames things. That's all coaching is. How do you frame something in somebody's mind to either drive them or bring out the absolute best in them? And the way he delivers his message like that, the mental toughness speech that he gave about adversity and battling and digging in, like, it was awesome to see him kind of deliver that. And the boys obviously listened and reacted in the second half.
Like you said, too, like, you know, you got to empower these guys. He said a lot of the guys on this team, like, don't have any NCAA tournament experience, which, like, we've seen when you have, like, teams with older backcourts and guys who have played in the tournament before, like, that really matters. But it's also a good thing they won the Big East tournament, because with the selection committee, who knows, they lose that, they might be looking at like an 8 seed or a 9 seed.
Yeah, maybe worse.